What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing us a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment-related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. A franchise that has been awaiting a continuation, and a lot of fans, of course, out there have been hoping for a continuation of the Elder Scrolls franchise, and it looks like, guys, we are getting closer and closer to hearing more information about this game. So I want to talk about everything that we know so far about the Elder Scrolls 6. So let's get into it. So, guys, in an article that was written by Andrew Smith of IGN, The Elder Scrolls 6 has been requested by fans for a long time now, and thanks to the E3 2018 announcement, we finally have confirmation that Bethesda intends to develop it. Unfortunately, we just aren't sure when that will be. Bethesda's Todd Howard has indicated that the studio's focus will be on Starfield first, and then will shift to Elder Scrolls 6. So it looks like we will have to wait just a little bit longer. First of all, guys, it's hard to believe that it's already been since E3 of 2018 is when we heard the first announcement. I mean, it's been a while, guys. I mean, that if you really think about it, we got that first shot, you know, that overview shot of kind of just like a landscape, right? And of course the Elder Scrolls, logo shows up, and that got a lot of people excited. But I mean, it's been since 2018 is when that announcement was. It's just crazy to think about. Now, however, a job listing from Bethesda could hint that Starfield development is wrapping up and the focus could now shift to Elder Scrolls 6. But with E3 2020 canceled and Bethesda confirming it won't be doing an online presentation, it'll likely be at least a few months before we hear more. So when is the release date? And so, guys, just, I guess our speculation and all of that that obviously I want to get into. I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section below as to when you think the Elder Scrolls 6 will finally release to the world. Starfield, it's interesting that they are making Starfield a priority over the Elder Scrolls, just because Elder Scrolls seems to be like the much more popular franchise, at least in my opinion. And I think that it would be definitely within Bethesda's best interest to bring out Elder Scrolls first. But nonetheless, as long as we're getting Elder Scrolls, I guess we can't complain. Now, at the time of writing, a release date for Elder Scrolls 6 has not yet been announced. While the game has been confirmed by Bethesda, it seems the next installment of the franchise won't be coming anytime soon. Speaking to IGN, Bethesda's Todd Howard indicated that Elder Scrolls 6 wouldn't happen until Bethesda's Starfield was released, which also doesn't have a release date at the time of writing. Howard confirmed that the Elder Scrolls 6 would not be launching an Xbox One and PS4 console generation, indicating that it will likely see an Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 release. We had done so many things. We were going Elder Scrolls Fallout, and you have this Starfield game in your head, and you sort of say, well, when? We are creatives, and we have to make this game, and this is the time, and so Elder Scrolls 6 is going to have to wait a little bit, said Howard. Which, look, at the end of the day, if it means that we're going to get a better game because we have to wait for Elder Scrolls 6, I'm 100%, down for that as well. I'm down to kind of just wait and for the game to come out and for it to be fully finished. Obviously, we don't want them to rush this thing, and we've seen kind of what has happened when, there might be a little bit of a stale nature to some of these franchises, like with Fallout. At Fallout 76, and a lot of people did not like it, and it just wasn't very well received. And Elder Scrolls, not that, Skyrim and all these other games haven't been well received. However, you don't want to rush something, because then it's going to be one of those games in the franchise that kind of tampers or hurts the franchise in a major way. So you definitely want to take your time with it, and I think we're all willing to do that and just wait it out. Now, as far as the location goes, at E3 2018, Bethesda showed a short teaser trailer for Elder Scrolls 6, which seems to suggest the location of the game. The teaser shows off a fog-filled valley, an old ruined fort, a city along the water's edge, and a coastline, which leads us to believe the Elder Scrolls 6 location could be set in High Rock. While this doesn't sound like much to go on, if you look at all the locations in Tamriel, these landmarks seem to line up with the descriptions of High Rock. However, some fans also think that the game could be set in Hammerfell, which is located along the southern border of High Rock. As far as races are concerned, at the time of writing, there has been no announcement from Bethesda about which races will appear and be playable in Elder Scrolls 6. There were 10 races in Skyrim, all of which made appearances in previous titles. It seems likely that some, if not all, of these races will also appear in Elder Scrolls 6. One thing I will say about the races is I would love to have some of the, old races come back or, continued into Elder Scrolls 6, and I'd also like to see some new ones. That's the beauty of video games, guys, is, the creative imagination can kind of run wild with these things, and I hope Bethesda does that. Hopefully they don't make this like cookie cutter Elder Scrolls game that ends up almost being like a copy and paste of Skyrim, maybe just with some updated graphics. I would rather them take, some of the same races from Skyrim, bring them, continue that legacy, but also build upon it, make some new races, kind of add more lore, more story at the end of the day to this franchise. I think would be really great. Now, at E3 2018, Bethesda officially announced Elder Scrolls 6 with a short teaser trailer. While Bethesda was present at E3 2019, the studio said that it would not be discussing Elder Scrolls 6 at its keynote. And then, of course, with E3 2020 canceled due to the pandemic, some developers and publishers have elected to hold their own digital conference or participate in IGN's Summer of Gaming event. However, on April 1st, Bethesda's Pete Hines announced that the studio would not be holding a digital showcase in June, but promised that it had lots of exciting things to share about our games and looked forward to telling you more in the coming months. Which is really strange to me. Why would Bethesda not tell us more of like what's going on? With some of their games, whether that be Starfield, Elder Scrolls. I mean, just showing us at least something would be really nice, because we haven't seen anything about Elder Scrolls since 2018, so I think it's about time for us to hear something about that and hear something about Starfield and, I mean, even some of their other games, right? I mean, are they going to continue the Rage franchise? Are they, the updates and things of that nature with, Doom Eternal? Of course, like Doom Eternal didn't come out very, too long ago, but still, it'd be nice for us to get some updates on some of these things. It's just unfortunate that they're not going to be showing up whatsoever to IGN's Summer of Gaming event, or pretty much any of these events in the foreseeable future. Now, as far as rumors are concerned, guys, there are a number of rumors spotted by a Redditor. Bethesda recently posted some job openings that seem to indicate that the studio is wrapping up development of Starfield and is getting ready to start on Elder Scrolls 6. The job listing states that Bethesda Game Studios is looking for talented programmers to join our team that is pushing the bleeding edge of RPG development for the PC and consoles. While this is merely speculation, it seems a bit late for the studio to be hiring developers for Starfield and could indicate that the long-awaited Elder Scrolls 6 is finally in development. So, at the end of the day, guys, I think there's a lot of question marks here, right, with the Elder Scrolls 6. As far as everything that we know certain things, but we haven't really had confirmation on a lot of stuff. Like, for example, the location as to where Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be. There's a lot of speculation, and most of these things, there's a lot of speculation. The one thing that we do know for sure is that Elder Scrolls 6 is slated to come out at some point in the foreseeable future. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled. I don't know why it would ever get canceled unless there were like significant creative differences or, whatever the case might be. I feel that this is a game that's definitely going to be coming out at some point. So I'll give you guys an idea of what I think. I believe that we're going to be hearing more about Elder Scrolls 6 in 2021. Obviously, you'll be hearing more about Starfield, but 2021 is probably when we'll hear a little bit more about Elder Scrolls 6, maybe get a gameplay trailer. 2022 or 2023 is when I think we can expect the Elder Scrolls 6 to actually come out. They're going to take their time with the marketing. They're going to be taking their time with bringing this game out, guys. And that's really, 2022 or 2023 seems like a good kind of area where it may came out. I would say late 2022 or early 2023, in my opinion, is when I think that they would slate this game, simply because they're going to want to have a lot of time to promote it, but they're going to want, to be bringing out, trailers, and they're going to want to take their time with this game, in my personal opinion. What else do I want out of it? I want to have multiple races, new races, and some of the old ones. I'd also like to have a continuation of the online aspect, like the multiplayer experiences with the Elder Scrolls. I'd like to see that continued and kind of evolved in a major way, as well as maybe some co-op mode. So you have a full package deal when this game comes out, $60 product. We're a lot more willing to pay that $60 because it's a full package. Hopefully, it's just as immersive and open as Skyrim. And I think, guys, that this could be a pretty special game at the end of the day. But I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about The Elder Scrolls 6 in the comment section below. What do you guys want to see out of it? What are you most anticipated about? Let me know what you guys think. And for more Elder Scrolls 6 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've been talking about Valorant, guys, on the YouTube channel and just, different aspects of this game. It's such a highly anticipated game to so many people, and I know that I'm one of those people who's very excited to see this game, in its totality come out, not in a beta version, but in its totality come out from an esports perspective, from just a competitive perspective, as well as just a casual experience. I'm excited for all of it because finally, it seems like there's a game in the form of Valorant that is coming for the throne of the first-person shooter. It definitely is chasing after the Call of Duties of the world, the Overwatches, the CSGOs, all these different first-person shooters that are trying to own the space. Valorant is coming for it all, and we made, when I first started the 8 Below show, we made an early episode talking about how Riot Games is aggressively seeking just the gaming world and being the king of video games, as well as just the king of esports in general. And I believe that is now completely something that is what Riot Games is attempting to do. With Valorant, certainly they're coming for the throne of the first-person shooter genre. And I think that there's a good chance that they could succeed if it's done well. Lots of people are very excited for this game. Lots of people are moving from other games over to Valorant, or it sounds like they at least will, from a competitive perspective. Well, in this segment of the show, guys, I want to talk about something a little bit more off topic with Valorant, that being a story mode, a campaign. Is that something that Valorant will have when the game first comes out? So let's talk about it. Guys, we all know that Riot Games up to this point, pretty much what they've explained is the esports side, the competitive side of Valorant, and what they're planning on doing there. They talked about some of the heroes or some of the different characters that you can play as. They've talked about a lot of different things revolving around this game. But a couple of the things that they really haven't talked about are, is this going to be something that, has a story mode to it? Because to me, guys, I would love to see a story mode in a game like Valorant just because of the graphics, how bright and colorful, how different it is, and I think it would be really cool to have some sort of story mode. Now, at the same time, I feel that this is going to be a free-to-play game, unless something changes last minute. A free-to-play game, similar to that like League of Legends and games like that, where it seems like it's going to be primarily a free-to-play multiplayer experience. So you can either, do competitive, you can just do a casual play, but it's all going to be, multiplayer. And it's free. And then, of course, you're going to have cosmetic items and things of that nature. One thing that I would love, even if, it's not a full-blown story, because obviously we know the resources you have to put in for a single-player story or a co-op story in a game like Valorant, especially, it's time-consuming, but it's also, costly at times. And when you're making a free-to-play game, it may just make more sense just to focus on the multiplayer aspect of things. Now, what I would love to see, though, is with each of the characters that you play as, having something similar to like what they did with Rainbow Six Siege, that being Ubisoft. Rainbow Six Siege had these operator missions where you played as each of those operators and you kind of got to know them, got to learn a little bit of their backstory, and it was a short, usually short missions, but a lot of times were really, really cool, and I'd love to see something like that. Kind of like character missions where you learn how to utilize each of those characters in a way, and you also get to learn a little bit of their story. The same can be said for something like Black Ops 4 in the Call of Duty franchise, where they didn't have a full-blown campaign, but what they had was each of your different characters that you could play as, of course, within the multiplayer experiences. You could play their stories and understand like how to use those different specialists and use their different, whatever it was that they specialized in. And so I think having something similar to that, at least in Valorant, would be really cool for each of those characters. At the very least, I would love to see something like that. At the end of the day, though, guys, we know what Valorant's doing. Riot Games is coming. They are aggressively seeking victory in the first-person shooter space, something that we have not seen, guys, pretty much in gaming in general, a company in the form of Riot Games, who's only worked on one game, has been known for one game, is now spreading across multiple other genres within the video game landscape, and they're coming for the throne of all of those different, all of those different genres, whether you're talking about card games. I mean, you got Legends of Runeterra that are trying to take on the likes of like Hearthstone. You've got, now Valorant trying to take over the first-person shooter space. It's a very interesting thing, and I think that Valorant is obviously going up against some stiff competition, but man, there's some unique capabilities and unique aspects to Valorant that I think could really make it a real contender to take over the first-person shooter genre. Now, is it going to be something that happens overnight, or is it going to take time? It's probably going to take some time, guys. I mean, when you have games like CSGO, you have games like Call of Duty that are just massive in the form of, Call of Duty, is the best-selling game every single year. CSGO, guys, now that is, it's their player count is getting bigger and bigger as time goes. Valorant is coming, though, and now that these developers know this, I wonder how their strategies are potentially going to change. But let me know, guys, in the comment section below, do you guys want to see a story mode or like character missions or a full-blown campaign in Valorant, or are you okay with it just being a multiplayer experience? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and for more Valorant content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. One of the highest grossing movies of all time was Avatar, guys, and I know that most of you are probably wondering, is this franchise ever going to get a continuation? And look, I've been wondering the same thing for a number of years, ever since the original came out back in 2009. Well, guys, not only are they making an Avatar 2, but they're also making an Avatar 3, 4, and 5. And who knows if they're going to continue making more and more, because this is probably going to be one of those franchises that could just make so much money over time. James Cameron, a great director, and he's had all this time to be working on the sequels to that very successful Avatar 1, which was the highest grossing movie of all time until, of course, Avengers Endgame came out. And man, it's going to be an awesome, back and forth, I think, over the years between Avengers as well as, Avatar. And really, I should say the Marvel Cinematic Universe versus that of Avatar, and Avatar versus everybody else. But in this segment, this last segment of the show, guys, I want to talk about everything that we know so far about Avatar 2. So let's talk about it. In an article, guys, that was written by Hugh Armitage, Rosie Fletcher, and Matt Chapman of Digital Spy, it's been a decade since Avatar broke the all-time record at the box office, and it's now lost its crown to none other than Avengers Endgame, which, by the way, guys, side note here, I loved Avengers Endgame. Avengers Infinity War as well as Endgame were two of some of the best, comic book movies I've ever seen all time. And I'm very glad that something broke the record that Avatar had, because I thought that at times Avatar felt a little bit overrated, but I was glad that Avatar surpassed Titanic, and I'm glad that Avatar got surpassed by Avengers, and now I'm excited to see kind of where that all goes over time. But that doesn't worry James Cameron as we continue to wait for Avatar 2. If anything, it's given him hope that this seemingly endless quest will be worth it. Avengers Endgame is demonstrable proof that people will still go to movie theaters. The thing that scared me most about making Avatar 2 and Avatar 3 was that the market might have shifted so much that it simply was no longer possible to get people that excited about going and sitting in a dark room with a bunch of strangers to watch something. Cameron has always had a plan to return to the world of Pandora. It's just one that is taking an awfully long time. We're apparently getting 4 sequels to a CG smash hit that will see the series run until 2027. How crazy is that, guys? 2027, you're basically going to have a new Avatar movie when they start every other year, which is crazy. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's worth the wait. Maybe he wanted to wait until the technology was there to do some really incredible stuff with Avatar 2 as well as the rest of these sequels. Now, when is the Avatar 2 release date? To cut a long story short, Avatar 2 is finally going to be released on December 17th, 2021, having been pushed back from December 2020. This presumes that, as previously confirmed, production will continue despite the ongoing world situation. As mentioned before, a new Avatar movie will follow every other year, all the way until Avatar 5 on December 17th, 2027. Well, that's the plan anyway. If you want the full story of the sequel's long and drawn-out journey to the screen, here it goes. Looking back on it, it seems almost absurd that Avatar 2 was scheduled for release in December 2014, and Avatar 3 was scheduled for December of 2015. Those dates got pushed back. You will not be surprised to learn in April 2016, filming was meant to start on Avatar 2, but April came and went and filming never got underway. Now, part of this, guys, I think actually the reason why Avatar 2 has been delayed so long is because I just think James Cameron, it reminds me of George Lucas with Star Wars, right? He goes ahead, he makes Star Wars 4, 5, 6, and then he comes back to do 1, 2, 3. Why did he do that? Well, the reason he did it, according to, a number of reports and what he has spoken to, personally, is that the pod race in episode 1, The Phantom Menace, he didn't think the technology was there. It would just not look right. So we wanted to wait until the technology was there to do the pod race from episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And then, so that's why he did 4, 5, and 6 first, comes back to do 1, 2, 3. And it kind of threw everything off, but at the same time, that's where you get this cult classic that is Star Wars. So Avatar, part of my thinking is James Cameron he had a lot of underwater sequences apparently that he wanted to do in Avatar 2, but he just didn't think the technology was there yet. So it's just been a long drawn out thing. Then there was obviously issues with the script. They're constantly redoing the script or kind of editing and continuing to kind of scramble things around within the script. So look, guys, I think at the end of the day, James Cameron, he's been taking so much time with this. I think this is going to be something really special when it finally comes out. I just wonder, will people remember Avatar? I'm not talking about just, people like that have seen the first one. But the idea is that is it that kind of is this a series that has that brand recognition? Is it something where, this is like a Star Wars? So when people hear Star Wars, everyone knows what it is. And they've been continuing to make, more and more Star Wars movies. Avatar has not seen the light of day since 2009, so we've been waiting a long time for it. And so the question is it going to have that brand recognition? I think there's a really good chance, guys, that people are still going to go to the theaters just to see what it's all about. Now, obviously, guys, lots of issues with all of these games, or all these movies, I should say. That there was potential here, potential there that it was going to come out at one point or another, and just lots of things were, obviously, like I said, between I believe the technology as well as the script, James Cameron has just pushed this thing off as long as he possibly could. Now, Avatar sequel titles. This is interesting. While we've been calling them Avatar 2, Avatar 3, and so on, there hasn't been any official confirmation of what they will be called. However, the BBC reported that the films could be called Avatar: The Way of Water, Avatar: The Seedbearer, Avatar: The Tolkien Rider, and Avatar: The Quest for Eywa, which Cameron later confirmed are potential titles, but could be subject to change. And honestly, guys, I love it. Because look, it's been so long since there was the first Avatar, that calling it Avatar 2, people are going to be like, wait a second, there was a first one? Some people will say that at least. But Avatar: The Way of Water, this is very interesting. I like this concept a lot more because it's been so long. Now, if it was only, let's just say, for example, Avatar 2 was slated for 2014, came out in 2014, I would be like, yeah, just call it Avatar 2 because it's not that long after. But since we've waited all these years, we're going to have to wait even longer for this movie to come out. It comes out in 2021 now. Call it Avatar: The Way of Water or something of that nature makes a lot of sense to me. Now, as far as the cast goes, the core cast of the original Avatar are all on contract, so Cameron stars will be back in when it finally hits. Zoe Saldana, who will reprise the role of Na'vi Princess Neytiri, had only just appeared in the Star Trek reboot when she starred in the 2009 original movie, and thanks to projects like Guardians of the Galaxy, she has become the biggest new star to come out of Avatar, as well as cornering the market for playing aliens of various hues. Sam Worthington will also return as the human-turned Na'vi Jake Sully, and it's fair to say that his success hasn't mirrored Saldana's. Sci-fi goddess Sigourney Weaver and bad guy Stephen Lang will be back too, despite the fact that both their characters died in the first film. As for Lang's character, in a statement, James Cameron said, "Stephen was so memorable in the first film, we're privileged to have him back. I'm not going to say exactly how we're bringing him back, but it's a science fiction story after all. His character will evolve into really unexpected places across the arc of our new 3-film saga. I really look forward to working with such a gifted actor who's also become a good friend." So very exciting stuff, guys. Overall, I'm excited to see, all of these, new characters coming into the fray, as well as old ones as well that have already, been there, done that. Also, what's interesting is that Vin Diesel is also on board of this story as well. Now, as far as the plot is concerned, Cameron has teased some details of the plot of Avatar 2 in the years since the first movie, which will deal with familial and imprisonment themes. The filmmaker has also been keen to point out that the films can all stand on their own, just in case you're one of the 3 people who didn't see the original. Each movie is a standalone movie that we would want to go see, said producer John Landau. You don't need to have seen the first Avatar to see Avatar 2. It sits there, and we're gonna take people on a visual and emotional journey that comes to its conclusion. Part of me likes this, but part of me doesn't. If this is true, and that each one is supposed to be like a standalone film, I don't know if I really like that much. I kind of like that there's like an overall narrative, and you got to kind of watch each one, and the story progresses as time goes. But nonetheless, maybe it's going to be really interesting. Maybe you just go to watch all the visuals. Maybe that's more what you go for instead of going to see like a actual narrative. You're just more so going to watch the incredible visuals, which obviously Avatar 2 and the rest of these Avatar movies are probably going to have. Set several years after the events of Avatar, Sully is now chieftain and Neytiri high priestess of their clan, although events will apparently focus on their children. We hear they'll also be journeying beyond the forests of Pandora in underwater and volcanic environments that Cameron promises will make you ask yourself with your mouth wide open. That's supposed to be a good thing, we think. And to really capture the importance of water, Avatar 2 will film its motion capture scenes underwater. It's never been done before, and it's very tricky because our motion capture system, like most motion capture systems, is what they call optical based, meaning that it uses markers that are photographed with hundreds of cameras. The problem with water is not the underwater part, but the interface between the air and water, which forms a moving mirror, Cameron explained to Collider. Which is like what I was saying, guys. It's going to be very interesting to see how they film this, and how this was filmed, because honestly, I think this is part of the reason why this has been delayed so long, because of the concept of, they wanted to film underwater sequences, having like maybe worlds underwater other than, just Pandora. You have, places underwater. And so I think that it's a great idea. I can't wait to see it. But at the same time, I feel like this is part of the reason, like maybe the technology wasn't there yet, and that's why Cameron kind of delayed these movies so much. So there's no Avatar 2 trailer as of yet, guys. But at this point, we know a decent amount, even though we don't know much at all, if you really think about it. Avatar 2, guys, is a movie that is definitely coming out at some point in the future. They've been working on it. It's been something that is definitely being talked about in a major way, and I know that there has to be, there are significant talks here as to what this could really be and how big of a franchise this really could be. I mean, this could be the next Star Wars, if you think about it, the next, Marvel Cinematic Universe. This could be something really special that could go on years upon years beyond James Cameron kind of being the one helming this thing. It could go on way beyond this, and that's something that could be really special in the future. And I hope it's something that does happen. I really do. I hope that this is a movie that we get and we all love it, and we love it from a visual perspective as well as a narrative perspective, because that's really what I wanted out of the first Avatar. Didn't really get it so much more, just a visual masterpiece in my opinion. And other than that, the story was cool. It was a great concept. I just didn't think it landed well in certain areas. I'm hoping that it does with the, Avatar 2 onwards and forwards. And this was definitely a franchise, guys, I believe that deserved to coexist with other movies, obviously. Wanted to see a continuation. We're finally getting it. And I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about Avatar 2? What are you hoping to see in these upcoming movies? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Avatar 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.